Hello everyone, my name is Deadwolf and welcome back to another reaction video. Today I'm going to be reacting to the epic of Serina. I hope that's how you say it. It's another video by Curious Archive. This was a commoner suggestion, so as always, if you got any suggestions, leave them down in the codes below. I'll do my best to get to them when I can. All right, let's learn this.
Imagine what would happen if you left a type of bird, for example finches, alone on a lush planet without predators for hundreds of millions of years. What kinds of incredible forms of life might evolve? If you consider that mammals grew from a few rodent-like species into elephants, whales, horses, bats, and primates in a much shorter period after the extinction of the dinosaurs, you'll start to realize just how incredible things might get. This concept is the idea behind one of the most detailed speculative biology projects ever created, Serina, the world of birds.
Did not say that at all. Correct.
This multi-million-year journey was created by Dylan Beta, an incredible artist and writer, and I have links below where you can follow and support his work. There's so much incredible detail to this project, and I won't be able to cover it all in a single video. But for now, let's get started at the very beginning of the saga, with the introduction of life to the moon of Serina. The story begins when some force, perhaps aliens or advanced humans, places Earth lifeforms on the moon of Serina. Specifically, they put canaries into a terraformed ecosystem much like Earth's. A few other species, including grasses, algae, flowering plants like sunflowers, tiny fish like guppies and swordtails, and insects like ants and crickets, are also left on the planet to create a sustainable food source for the finches, which are the only significant land animals on this entire moon. And then the creators of this mysterious experiment depart, and evolution takes over. The explosion in canary diversity is almost instantaneous. The artist speculates that lacking predators and with a near endless food supply, the population would skyrocket over the first 10,000 years. From here, early specialization emerges, with insect eaters, plant eaters, egg eaters, and seed eaters all becoming subtly different over the generations. In the sea, guppies and swordtails grow and diversify. Over the next several million years, this period, which is called the Hypostacene, sees small fish become larger and more streamlined, with hydrodynamics shaping them into familiar forms. Several million years in, and leafcutter ants have quickly proliferated, with their numbers reaching tens of billions. Soon, larger, flightless variants of canaries emerge to feed on this growing food source. As the sun rises 10 million years into this grand experiment, a truly diverse ecosystem of different species is forming. Here, the thick-beaked axebills strut across the plains, near the large womblers and long-legged aardgeese. Already, the moon of Serina is a much different place from when these birds first arrive, and from here, things will only get stranger. 11 million years in, an era called the Tempestine begins, marked by a steady cooling and an increase in arid environments. A region called the Northern Drylands comprises the largest temperate desert region on this moon, where all sorts of new species are emerging. It's now early spring here, and a large and lithe aardgoose offshoot is strutting across the drylands, keeping an eye on fearsome descendants of the formerly herbivorous axebills called the skikes, which are now sharp-billed omnivores. Nearby, one of the first true predators on Serina, the small falconary, hunts a songbird under the branches of huge tree-like sunflower descendants. But below them all, in a series of tunnels, an even more interesting dynamic is unfolding. These tunnels are made by an enormous lobster-like arthropod, which despite weighing as much as a small cat, is in fact a cricket. And with it in its home are strange little birds called ground serins. They can't dig tunnels themselves, but make use of the friendly cricket's burrow to keep themselves safe, and in return act as lookouts. A very strange set of roommates indeed. As the Tempestanic era progresses, Serina continues to cool. In this changing environment, the artist imagines one successful branch of aardgeese, called the vivus, is on the path to a surprising yet useful adaptation, the birth of live young without requiring an egg. And in the coming ice age, this adaptation will prove vital to the branch's success. Away from the mainland, however, the isolated Cryan Islands are not yet feeling the effects of the global cooling. Indeed, on these islands where food grows in abundance and predators are scarce, very different selective pressures are creating some of the largest and strangest species of birds so far. Reaching heights of over 10 feet or 3 meters, the chubbirds are huge offshoots of finches that don't resemble any other birds on Serina at this time. In this paradise, there's simply nothing big enough on these islands to bother them. In time, though, the islands change. The chubbirds pass on, and in their place, an even stranger species of megafauna emerge. These are the snuffaloes. Shaggy, heavy-set creatures almost the size of cattle, and with similar grazing behavior. The snuffaloes are so heavy, however, that they can't support their weight on their 2 feet alone, and must also rely on their beak for balance, which has almost become a third foot. Inefficient? Perhaps, but there are few predators on these islands that would make the snuffalo require speed, save perhaps for one. The butcher raptor is an evolutionary newcomer and not large enough to seem like a threat to something snuffalo-sized. But the butcher raptor has something the snuffalo does not: intelligence. Butcher raptors are quite possibly the smartest creatures Serina has yet to produce. Efficient pack hunters that can, in a group, take down something as big as a snuffalo. And in the oceans, life is also diversifying into unexpected forms. Take, for example, the sword sharks, predators whose swordtail ancestors average 6 inches in length. The sword shark, in contrast, averages up to 8 feet and preys on vast shoals of smaller fish, thrashing them with their unique tails to stun them. An even more incredible transformation has occurred in the case of the giant gemnus, a guest entry into Serina conceptualized by Joseph Cawley. The giant gemnus grows over 30 feet or 9 meters in length and consumes over 400 pounds or 180 kilos of plant matter a day. And yet the ancestors of these herbivorous behemoths are the tiny guppies. Truly aquatic birds called balloons also emerged during the Tempestine, like the starry pelicarrier, a species that incubates eggs under its hind legs and carries its young safely in its mouth. Right now, these early seafaring birds are far from the largest things in the ocean, about the size of a human diver. In the future, however, the circumstances for the balloons would change. However, it's not the balloons, nor even the giant gemnus that one should be keeping an eye on long term. These tiny, unfortunate, almost toad-looking creatures are called mudwickets. They're a species of fish that lives in tidal areas and are beginning the process of crawling onto land. Right now, they're not up to much, but there are many millions of years to go in our great epic. Looking back on Serina's progress, 50 million years have now passed since the introduction of the Canaries, and the moon is now entering a period called the Cryocene. The climate, already cooling in the Tempestine, has now cooled further, and over half the moon's surface is locked in ice. In this new frontier, the live-bearing Vivus groups have come to dominate all manner of niches, both at the equator and in the colder regions. From large tropical shimmer-snoot Vivus who eat insects with their long tongues, to the lithe herbivorous ceralopes and thick-beaked carnivorous banshees of the plains, to the tiny bumblets who burrow underground to keep warm, the Vivus have become one of the most diverse groups in this new world. Another successful Vivus is the canaraboo, large, thick-coated offshoots of ceralopes that live in enormous migratory herds and can withstand the harsh polar winters of this region. The canaraboo is the first true live-bearing bird, giving birth to fully hatched infants. Here, a mother protects its newborn from a giant falconary, aerial predators that have grown gigantic over the ages, but are not so large they're ready to tangle with an angry mother protecting its young. In the tall forests of pine flowers, plants which have evolved conifer-like needles, the more familiar descendants of egg-laying species hold on. In this more temperate region, the giant flightless anvilbeak, with a beak that helps it crack open all manner of seeds, lives near its cousins, the swordbills, who are lightweight hunters. These holdovers are distant descendants of the axebills, and in these forests, their lineage will endure despite the dropping temperatures. Another familiar, though increasingly strange species are the molebirds, the descendants of the burrowing finches who are now capable diggers in their own right.
That's
For millions
wild.
of years, they've quietly tunneled underground, content to be ignored by the above-ground megafauna.
That's me if I was
Also
a
much
bird.
changed since our last visit
What
are
the
the
fuck?
aquatic balloons, which are now one of the most specialized
What the
lineages
hell?
of birds on Serina,
That's
growing to more than
weird.
60 feet or 18 meters in length and weighing up to 15,000 pounds or 6,800 kilograms. This is a family of gentle herbivorous leviathans, which the artist describes as the largest birds that have ever existed. And at the water's edge, the unassuming mudwickets have continued to adapt,
it's
spending
kinda
more and more
cute
time
now.
on land. They still don't look like much, but soon circumstances will change.
Ooh.
But the time of the mudwickets is not yet upon us. Jumping forwards to the late Cryocene, the final period we'll be covering in this particular video, we've arrived at an age of giants. On the plains,
Whoa, whoa,
one
whoa.
large offshoot of the ceralope are the flutterbox, colorful herbivores with a bright plumage similar in many ways to the feathers of Earth's peacocks. The flutterbox are in turn stalked
Dude,
by
they
the
look
dinosaur-like
weird.
trunk snouts, whose newly evolved pseudoteeth make them effective predators with a high degree of evolutionary potential. Even more dinosaur-like are the Cerastriders, the largest terrestrial bird that is yet to evolve on Serina. Exceeding 12 meters or 40 feet in height and weighing several tons, the Cerastriders are the sauropods of their day, adapted to browse the highest branches of trees. But larger herbivores mean larger carnivores. The tyrant Serins, the grandest of all descendants
looks
of the
pretty
distant
cool.
axebill, are apex predators that can take down other large megafauna. Equipped with serrated beaks able to shatter bone, these tyrants are the heaviest land predators yet to evolve. This period is an early peak of megafauna on Serina, which now supports species so large and distinct they're almost unrecognizable when one reflects on the moon's first humble inhabitants. Over the next several million years, Serina would change once again, as an increase in volcanic eruptions on a larger scale than ever before would turn the environment on its head, giving rise to far more alien-looking creatures than what we've seen
Ooh.
so far, which we'll explore
the
in our
hell?
next installment. But for now, that's all the time we have. If you enjoyed learning about the moon of Serina, consider supporting and following Dylan Beta using the links below. Also, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this entry, please lend your support, and like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon to stay up to date on all.
Okay, well, we get the gist. That's weird. That's cool, though. So I'm gonna guess this is, like, obviously this is a fictional planet in a fictional world, but dude, this is kind of cool. It's a little strange. I am excited to see how big these birds are, especially the little frog thingy. What was it, the mudkip? No, I think that's mudkip's a Pokemon. I don't know, the mudskipper or whatever the fuck it was called. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. If you're new, comment, subscribe, don't comment. But if you have a video or YouTube channel you guys want me to react to, leave them down in the comments below. Follow me on Twitch and Twitter, I guess, if I still use Twitter. Down in the description, you'll find the links to all that mumbo jumbo stuff. All right, bye.